Boom! At the open, all-time high for the S&P 500.
It's your boy Jimmy.
Now, what's worth doing is worth doing for money.
Straight from y'all street to Wall Street.
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil, doesn't make up happen.
Dudes wake up, hope their girl turned on so they can get a little bit. Only woman in the morning, I wanna turn on this. Deck it quick. While the average man looking at this sad life. She fine as it. I'm over here looking at tails and whips like, yeah, 5-6. I left the mayhem for the market. Now I don't want a dope spot, I want a stock pick. I know that booty got dropped, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for your wop. My V-wops crossing. Rich with hot V's and pushing hot keys. Strategy and plans to make grand. Still in my wife beater. Batman pajamas, house slides, and about 5 hot picks for the day. Cause I like the way the Dow bounce. 4 hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottle. Now I know dumb money don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my MACD? You see, we different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dog, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thought, grow with the marijuana. Waking up with the fun, some commas. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL, make profits. I jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. Yeah. See, me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. Said today I'm taking a risk. They got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call a short squeeze. You get the drop, she pull the trigger, and abort these. If she stay on my watch list, I might have to wife her. But I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Call up the Wolf of Weed Street. It's time to flip some profits. Go ahead, be hawking. Get your spot here. I'll double top that in the head and shoulders. Hit them up with this resistance. Watch them roll over. Cause I see John Wicks and contracts. If I say I make $1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed. Get split, get delisted, and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and egg, make profits. Light up, watching them man make profits. While I'm still in my same making profits. They used to watch me move them packets. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETF. Hey, my family. Hey, go, what we doing, my man? Hey, make profits. Hey, Shug, Mike, what we doing, dog? Hey, make profits. Yo, Wolf, Professor, what we doing? Make profits. That TTG money gang, we some snipers.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. We are live at the second Miami meetup with all of our wonderful TTG fam. All my TT fam that are in the house, give me an ayo. Such an amazing first day down here at our second meetup in Miami. All of our TTG fam that are not here with us in person, but that are on the live stream, we miss you dearly. We look forward to seeing you at the next one. But a great day here. So much education going on here, so much learning, just getting to be able to meet all of our members here. We have some members that are returning from the first meetup, some that are here for the very first time. Getting to meet this amazing bunch of people from all over the place, all different trading styles, was so much fun, and we're just getting started. But the market, what is going on with this market? This market will not refuse to give. It will not give up. This market will not give up. We came into the day today. I thought one of my trade ideas for today, and I was going after this thing, whether right or wrong, this is my idea. I'm going after it here today. I do have my day is red today. It's a small red day. It's a little bit of a paper cut day, but I come on, I talk about all the wins. I talk about all the big green days, but we also got to talk about when we're red too. So today I felt that we were going to have a rollover day today with jobless claims numbers, leading economic indicators, Jerome Powell speaking again, and the SPY gapping beneath a major level of resistance. But we climbed our way back tooth and nail above that level, that 4,400 on the S&P, huge, huge level. We got back above it, regained it. So now what does this all mean for the markets going forward? Where do we see some opportunities going into tomorrow? What we're going to do here today in this live stream, I'm going to do it nice, short, and sweet. And we're going to do a Q&A session with all of our members here live that are down in Miami. I'll allow them to ask a bunch of questions, whatever it is that's on their mind. We're going to go ahead and answer it. And then I'll take some questions also from people that are with us here on the stream. So take advantage of the Q&A session. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Asking questions is how you learn. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, may not know who this guy is in a Yankee hat. My name is Michael Edward Parinati. Go by Michael Edward. I've been trading and investing for over 17 years while working at T3 Alpha Fund as my very first job right out of college, where I had to go through a 3-month educational training program where I was taught by other professional traders the proper way to trade these markets. And I have to figure this out on my own by watching YouTube videos and reading Reddit and and going on Twitter. I was taught by professionals before they let me touch $1 of their money. Then 2008 happened. And that was the Great Recession. That was the stock market crash. But also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. Now today, I'm the head trader and co-founder of TTG, and along with my team of 8 other professional trading mods and over 30-person staff. We've helped thousands of members from all over the world in 115 different countries. Truly a global community. We've helped those members reach their goals. Now, for those of you that don't know, we are the fastest growing and highest rated premium online educational platform that combines university level trading and investing courses with premium stock market tools, live workshops, and mentorship for stocks, options, crypto, futures, for also day trading, swing trading, and long-term investing, something for everybody inside of TTG. But we take that university level of curriculum, we pair it with today's top financial tools that are worth over $5,000 a year if you paid for them on your own. These are tools that successful traders use, give them more information, help them make better decisions, increase their chances of success. But $5,000 is a lot of money. That's why we spend years building relationships with these companies so we can offer their tools and products on our platform at no additional cost to you. Of course, you get all of our members, all these wonderful people that are here with me today down in Miami, the most helpful, supportive, and successful community of traders you guys are ever going to find. And of course, the real-time trade alerts for myself and the rest of the moderators. So if you guys are ready to learn, trade, and profit for real, you've come to the right place. 6 nights a week, Sunday through Friday, we go live right here. For myself, Other TTG Pro trading mods and special guests drop golden nuggets, give you free lessons, education, trade ideas, and commentary to help you guys become better traders. So take a moment, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications, make sure you guys never miss out on any of these live streams. All right, guys. So what I want to do here first is, Jess is not here. Jess was going to review her trade with me today on Roku, which was trade of the day there for Jess, and we were able to capitalize on the Roku trade. And then I'll also be talking to you guys about what I thought was going to be happening today in the SPY and why that is not the case on what we saw, the actual price action from today. And then we'll get into a big Q&A session with all of our members here. And then I'll take some questions from people that are on the stream as well. So I want to start off with kind of a quick update here on the SPY. It was a very choppy day to the upside. Okay, so it was a choppy day to the upside, and we came into the day today with a gap underneath a level that I've been paying very, very close attention to. So I want to draw this line out for you guys here as we see it on my 15-minute chart. I'm going to just go full screen here with the 15-minute charts. You guys can see exactly what I'm looking at. This is a setup of a very, very clean head and shoulders pattern on the SPY. Left shoulder, head, and then here's right shoulder. And my thoughts were, if we break underneath this neckline, that we would see some further downside getting down to your next support level, which is down here around 430 to 431. We gapped down today right into the lows of the day from the Fed meeting. The lows of the day from the Fed meeting are 433.5, slightly underneath this 434.50 zone that was lows from yesterday. So my thoughts coming today was jobless claims numbers are coming out. They've been higher than expected for the last 2 weeks. If you get another third week where the jobless claims numbers are higher than expected, that can weaken things out a little bit in the markets. You also had the Bank of England today raise rates by 50 basis points when the expectation was that they were going to raise by 25 basis points. So let's recap what has happened in the last 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks, you had Australia. They raised rates by 25 basis points when it was widely expected they were going to pause. Bank of Canada raised rates by 25 basis points when it was widely expected that they were going to pause. We paused. It was expected that we were going to pause. But now here comes the Bank of England, and they raised rates by 50 basis points when it was expected that they were only going to raise rates by 25. And yet the market still does not believe that the Fed was going to raise rates more than one more time in July. So right now it is fully priced in for a rate hike in July, but then that is it. Right now the markets have been pricing in one rate hike in July and then done. Also even looking at a rate cut at some time later this year. But if what you're seeing out of Australia, out of Canada, and out of the Bank of England is any sign of what could possibly be coming here, then maybe Jerome Powell actually is telling the truth about raising rates maybe 2 more times. They raised their Fed funds target up to 5.6. In order for the Fed to get to 5.6, that means they've got to raise rates 2 more times, not 1. So they raised 1 in July, which is like a 78% likelihood, I believe, last time I checked Fed funds futures, that they're going to raise rates in July. But then the market believes they're done after that. Now, August, there's no Fed meeting. So you're talking about a skip, right? A whole month where you're going to get inflation data and you're going to get jobs data. And if that core inflation number does not come down between July and August, then when the Fed comes up on deck in the fall, going into the weakest time of the year, and the market is anticipating no rate hike, and the Fed gives the market a rate hike, what does that do to stocks? Because so far, the Fed raising rates has just done nothing but allow the markets to continue to float higher on the back of technology stocks being strong. Technology stocks were strong again today. Apple was extremely strong today. Amazon was extremely strong today. Palo Alto. These stocks are right at or near all-time highs. So you still have a lot of strength within mega cap tech. I came into the day today and said, okay, well, if we're gonna gap underneath that level, I'm going to try to be short against that 434.50, and that was this level that you will see right there. And we pushed up right into it early, and I tried to short on Datadog, and the markets actually then just pushed right through. We went green on the day, and it's okay, that's it. We go green. I'm stepping away from all shorts. I'm not going to try to short anything else. and I backed away. I didn't short another stock for the rest of the day. We were busy here in the Miami meetup and going through and doing some workshops and spending some one-on-one individual time with people. But once you broke above that resistance level, then I know that's it. I'm wrong. This level is not going to hold this resistance. We're not going to see downside. It's going to be probably a little bit of a choppier day, which it ended up being. And I didn't go after another trade for the remainder of the day because of that. So this is where the markets are kind of at. I wanted to give you kind of that update, kind of let you know what I did in the markets here today, but I do want to go ahead and open things up. And like I said, we're going to do a Q&A session here today on this live stream, guys. I'm going to allow for members that are here live with us to ask questions. And then we'll also maybe take some questions from people that are on the stream as well. So I'll have members kind of call out their questions, raise their hand. I'll select them, and then I'll restate the question here for you guys on the stream. So you can, if you can't hear the questions that are coming from the crowd. So guys, anybody, if you guys want to, we'll start off with the Q&A session. I will say, do not be shy. Do not be embarrassed. The best way for you guys to learn is to ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid or silly question. So do not hesitate to ask. So members that are all with me here, if you guys have questions, just show of hands. I'll call you out. Tell me your question, and we'll be happy to walk everybody on through it. Let's begin that Q&A. Skippy, talk to me. Question is, what do I think about PMI numbers and Powell speaking and effects? I don't think that we're going to really get any more effects from Powell. The day for Powell's words to really affect the market was going to be yesterday when he came out and gave his statement before he was speaking and testifying in front of the House. When he goes and he talks in front of the House, then he goes and talks in front of the Senate, it's going to be very, very, very similar. He's going to say the same things when he said yesterday, as he said today, when he was talking in front of the Senate. But I don't expect there to be anything else new coming from him. He's been pretty clear in what he said yesterday and what he said today about, yes, they still think they're going to have to raise rates. They don't necessarily think that they're done. But the markets still don't really feel that two more rate hikes are in the cards. Right now, the futures market is pricing in one more rate hike. And then you also have a possibility of a rate cut later in the year as well. You can come, it's got the background up. So I don't necessarily think that Powell's words are going to have too much of an impact. Now, the PMI numbers that we're getting tomorrow are the flash PMI. What does that mean? Flash is an early look at services PMI and manufacturing PMI. Those are pieces of economic data that tell you how the economy is doing in the services sectors and how's the economy doing in the manufacturing sectors. Now, we have been in recessionary territory on leading economic indicators, which we got today, which was negative for the 13th month in a row. And you are going to be negative also, and you've been seeing, well, not negative, but recessionary territory under 50 on manufacturing PMI, and you've had services PMI has come in weak as well. But the market has moved higher on the back of the economic data that we have gotten so far. And it's really because even though economic data has come in weak, the labor market remains strong. As long as the labor market remains strong, consumer spending remains elevated. As long as consumer spending remains elevated, we are a 70% driven consumer-based economy. And until consumers stop spending money, this economy continues to chug along. And the market has cared a lot more lately about good jobs data than they have poor economic data. So I don't know really, I don't really foresee that changing all that much tomorrow, unless you get some type of horrific PMI number that just shows a huge drop off rather than what has been so far the last couple of months in economic data. It has been a slow, steady decline, not a, wow, the economy is dropping off a cliff. And that shows a decelerating economy, but it does not show an economy that is contracting, which is recessionary when you have negative GDP, which we have not yet had. So it's going to show slowing economy, but not a cracking economy. And I don't know if we're going to have all that much of a reaction from that PMI data unless it is a lot worse than what was anticipated. If it's a lot worse, then you can get a little bit of a pullback day tomorrow. I don't expect a crash on the back of that. What I think would actually create follow-through selling pressure in this market would be if you start to see the labor market start to falter. And then that also coincides and lines up with consumer spending and retail sales, which have actually held up a lot better than people have anticipated up to this point. So, but excellent question. Next, a little show of hands if anybody has a question. If not, I can take questions from people that are in the stream. I don't see any hands. We do. We've got one. Yes?
What's your next level of resistance for the SPY?
Oh, that's a good question. So levels of resistance that I see right now is I see a very minor level at 437. You have little minor levels at the next 3 whole dollars. Okay. So the question here is, what is the next level of resistance for the SPY? Okay. That's the question. What is the next level of resistance that I see for the SPY? And I see 3 minor levels of resistance. And then a major level that is significantly higher than where we are. And I'll draw those out for you. First level is going to be 437, which is yesterday's high. And it is also prior day's close. So close of the day from the 20th is right around 437. Yesterday's high is right around 437. Then you're going to see a level from 438, 30s up to 439. And this is going to be the 20th. You had a double top around 438.5. And then you have the gap that takes you back up to 439.5. So like these are minor levels of resistance. These aren't major levels that I think are what I like to do when I'm trying to come up with my trade ideas and my trade plans. When I'm going through my charts, I try to determine minor levels as profit targets, major levels as entry points or final take profit targets. Because a minor level is a level that maybe isn't strong enough to just completely halt momentum in its tracks and reverse trend, which is what you would want to look for when you're looking for either entries on pullbacks into support or shorts on bounces into resistance, or if you're looking for just a final take profit on a position that you're in. But when you have a minor level, you don't want to necessarily just ignore that the levels are there, but they can help you identify targets. If you said, okay, well, I have resistance at 437, 438.5, and 439.5, then that would be hey, if someone that's bullish on the market, you want to go ahead with calls, then there are your 3 profit targets right there, because those are 3 minor levels of resistance. But if we had, let's say, for example, if I believed 439.50 was a major level, which I don't feel that it is, if it was a major level, and that becomes either a final take profit on a long or a possible entry for shorts or puts. And that's how I like to go about when I come up with my trading plans based on major level, minor level. And that helps me, come up with my trading plan or come up with the idea. The bigger level of resistance, I'll just delete all these lines. It's going to give me, make you go crazy. Bigger level of resistance, okay, is right here at 450 and then 460. Now, these are major levels, okay? Now, the 450 level is going to be the double top that you had in April of last year before the big sell-off happened going into June. Okay, so that was when CPI numbers really started coming in hot in 2022, and the market really started its sell-off. Right? Yes, you had the sell-off in January and then February with the Russia-Ukraine war, but things really unraveled that April into June of last year. And that's when things really started to accelerate to the downside. So that double top up there at 450, big level of resistance. And if you get above that, 460, massive. Now, if you ask me, do I think 460 is a possibility so here this year, I'm going to tell you, no, I don't think it's a possibility. But if you also asked me 3 months ago if I thought 444 was a possibility, I would have also told you most likely not, no. But yet we got to 444 last week. So this market can push a lot further than people really necessarily think. And that's one thing that you really have to understand. What you have to consider is, a lot of conversations that I have with people and with traders, and I feel the same way, is that this doesn't make sense. Like the market keeps going higher, but you keep seeing, economic data is not really there. And you're like, these valuations don't make sense. How could this be? How could we be back to where we were before the Russia-Ukraine invasion? We're higher, significantly higher than where we were back in 2022, which seems like an eternity ago. We're higher than where we were that day. And it might not feel like that, but we are. We're significantly higher from where we were. So we've come a very long way off that October low of last year, much further than a lot of people anticipated, including myself. So I'm not just going to, continuously try to short the overall market, because we could go higher. Could we go to 450? We could. And then 450 is a major level that I would try at that point, maybe trying to engage in shorts, because that is, like I said, major level versus minor level when I look for trade entries or final targets, et cetera. And that's kind of the levels that I see on the chart as far as major levels and then minor levels. So I hope that answers the question. Anybody else have another question for myself or for Jess that has joined me here today? Anybody? Yes? Good.
You've had some surprises today. What surprises are you expecting the rest of this week and maybe moving into next week?
So the question was, you had some surprises today. What are some surprises, that we may expect tomorrow or going into next week? At this point, now that we're back above 4,400 on the S&P, I really wouldn't be surprised with either directional move that we get next week, because now that trade idea, that pattern, that setup that tried to trigger today was taken back. So it starts to deteriorate the quality of that setup. I mean, listen, if we put in another red day tomorrow and we go back to 435 or 434.50, then that head and shoulders pattern is still in play. The head and shoulders pattern is still here. We just haven't cracked the neckline yet. So it's entirely possible we can go back to 438, 438.50 tomorrow, pull back to 437.50, then on Monday drop to 434, then crack it on Tuesday. That could happen, and we can trigger on that head and shoulders pattern. And if we do get that, I'll be all over it. But it would be foolish for me to say that today's price action, with the catalyst that we had, Bank of England raising rates more than we expected, leading economic indicators to come in for the 13th consecutive negative month, for that not to be enough from a fundamental standpoint to crack the technical level. It's still held. So what do we have coming up tomorrow? The flash services and manufacturing PMI. Could that break the level? I think only if it's a big surprise, meaning it's a lot lower than the initial number that people think it is. But other than that, it looks like this market wants to just hold the 434 zone, which is the lowest in the Fed day, and try to get back up into the 440s. Neither one of those scenarios at this point would surprise me. I thought today we would break this level. We did not. We went green. We had strength in Apple and Amazon and Palo Alto. You had so much strength out there in a lot of these tech names. That was something that surprised me, because I thought we were going to break the level. At this point, I'm extremely neutral. I came in today with a bearish stance and a bearish mindset. Going into tomorrow, I'm extremely neutral, and I don't really have a bias either way. I think that we'll probably push up into those minor levels that we discussed, and then maybe get a little bit of a pullback. From there. So at this point, honestly, I don't think anything really would surprise me, to be completely honest with you, because I feel like almost every day this market seems to surprise us. Yes.
What's your take on these pharmaceutical companies with the drugs in them? A lot of them are small caps. How do you think they can move up or down?
So good question. So the question is, what's my take on a lot of these pharmaceutical companies, these biotech companies that have these drugs that are going through, clinical trials? What do I think about them, moving up or moving down? And you specifically referenced small caps, right? So the thing about small cap pharmaceuticals or small cap biotech stocks is they are, so first of all, to be a biotech company or to be in the pharmaceutical space is extremely cash intensive. You burn through ridiculous amounts of cash to go through your clinical trials. Clinical trials are insanely expensive. These companies that are small caps, most of them do not generate any revenue. The ones that do not have profit. So they have to continuously raise capital. In order for them to raise capital, it is usually dilutive because you're talking about $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 stocks. And what ends up happening is every single piece of good news that causes a gap up in these stocks is met with selling pressure. And the reason why it's met with selling pressure is because the funds and the banks and the institutional investors that give these companies money sit on that capital for a long period of time because the stocks usually don't trade a lot of volume. You might have a $2 or $3 biotech stock that trades 50,000 shares a day. Well, if a bank or a fund or an investor gave that company $10 million 2.5 years ago to go through a clinical trial, they've never been able to recoup that capital. So usually they'll give them the money in the form of a convertible note, which means it's debt. The company has the opportunity to pay that debt back. Since these companies don't generate any profit, they have no money to pay the debt back with. So that debt converts into equity. So the debt becomes shares. The fund or the investors that gave the company the money now do not have debt. They have shares, and a lot of them. So when a piece of news comes out, it says, hey, we had positive results on a phase 1 clinical trial. It met our endpoints. And everyone says, wow, that's fantastic news. They met their endpoints. Phase 1 clinical trial, breast cancer drug, phase 1 treatment. That's good. This is great. Stock gap's up 80%. The fund, the investor that gave that company the $10 million 2 years ago says, finally, liquidity event. They can finally start to sell and recoup the money that they gave the company years ago. That's why a lot of times you have these biotech stocks where you're like, I don't understand. This is great news, but the stock went down. Why? It's great news, but the stock goes down. That's the reason why. And you have a lot of that in small cap biotech space. So I like to treat small cap biotechs as trades, not investments. You're much better off waiting for that company to actually get an approval on some type of treatment, because the only way that you're going to get a real meaningful sustained move higher on those stocks is if they actually pass a phase 3 trial to bring their drug to market. Phase 1 passing, great, good news. You still have a very long way to go. It's a very expensive way because phase 2 and phase 3 are very expensive. You pass phase 2, that's great news. You still got phase 3 to go. So more often than not, these small cap biotechs, when they have these big gap ups, everybody gets very excited because it's great news, but they're not realizing that there are funds or investors that are in the background that are going to be selling a lot of stock so that they can just take that money and do what with it? They're going to give it right back to the company. So say, I'll give you 10 million. My 10 million that I gave you 2.5 years ago, I just turned it into 18. I just turned it into 22. Now you need 15 million for phase 2. I got you. No problem. Why wouldn't I? Look how much money I just made on you. Here's another 15 million. Then it comes time for you to pay back that debt. Company can't pay the debt back. They don't make any money. They're not selling any drugs. So that converts then what? Into equity. The fund gets shares. Next piece of news comes out. Fund dumps the shares. And that cycle repeats until either the company fails or they actually can bring a drug to market. Now, the likelihood of a small biotech bringing a drug to market, not to say it's impossible. Obviously, it does happen. But for every one that makes it, TNDM is a good example. Stock TNDM. That was a $2 stock. Went all the way like, I don't know, $150 or whatever it was. But for every one of those, there's 99 that go from $2 to 6 to 50 cents. So I like to treat those small cap biotechs as trades, not long-term investments. Because even though you could believe so much in their drug treatment, they could go from 2 to 4 to 50 cents, reverse split to 3, to 3 to 7, back to 50 cents, reverse split. And then by the time they actually have a meaningful move to the upside, you're just making back losses that you've incurred on the last 2 years of holding on to this stock. If you take a look at a lot of these small cap biotechs and you look at their charts over the last several years, you see these big candle pops and then they just fade themselves back down. And it waits for another press release to come out for you to get that another move to the upside. So I treat them as trades. I don't, small cap biotechs don't have a place in my long-term portfolio. Now, the larger companies, it's a very different story. They're extremely profitable. They have hundreds of drugs that they sell. They have hundreds of drugs in their pipeline that they're working on trials with. They pay good dividends. Those are different. But the small cap ones, they don't have dividends. They don't have hundreds of drugs in their pipeline. They have one, maybe two. So it's all or nothing with them. If Pfizer misses on a clinical trial on a particular drug, it doesn't matter. They still generate billions of dollars in profit. If you have a $2 stock that fails on their one drug, company's done. So I don't like to put those stocks in the long-term portfolio, but I'll trade the crap out of them on a gap up day. So good question though. Anybody else have another question? Nobody. Anybody? Yep. Go ahead, man.
So coming into the market short-minded today, with this bull run happening in the SPY and a gapping down and retaking the daily trade line, what would you need to see to be able to get comfortable getting long up here in the high 430s for 40 years?
That's a very good question. So the question here, guys, is, being that I was coming into the day today short-minded, what is it that I would, and now that we've gotten we held that level, we've gotten back above trade line on the daily chart, which is this teal line that you guys see on my screen. The question is, what do I need to see to be comfortable getting long? Because something that I've been saying for the last 2 weeks is I am just so uncomfortable being long up in this area because I just feel like the markets are a bit extended, and it's been very difficult for me to try to be long into this zone. So what do I need to see for me to be long? I would want to see us fill the gap and retake the gap from 2 days ago. And that is, I'll zoom it in. That's this gap right here. This gap right there. Okay. So if we get back above that gap and we close and we fill that gap, what you can start to do is you can start to look for support then in the 438 to 439. So for me to be long comfortably would require probably a move to 440. And then I can say, okay, now that we're back to 440 and we've closed that gap, the likelihood of us testing 444 and maybe even trying to push to 450 has now increased enough to where I'd feel comfortable trying longs. And then I would use the previous gap entry of that 438 zone. I use that as the buying support. So I would say, okay, if we're up at 440, we get a pullback into 439. Now look, okay, what stocks are out there that are relatively strong? And if we think the SPY is going to bounce from 438 to 439 and make a climb to 444, I try to be long then the relatively strong stocks that we still have out there, which are, what are they? Palo Alto, relatively strong. Tesla, relatively strong. Amazon, relatively strong. Apple, Microsoft, Meta. These are all the stocks that are still very, very relatively strong to what's going on in other areas of the market. And those are names I would look for there to be further upside. It's a good question though, man. Because I've struggled with it a lot over these last 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I come in and I'm very, I'm always very open with, hey, this is what I think the markets are going to do, and this is what I'm gonna do. And it's been for me at least. I know for some other people that are very bullish, it's been a very easy move to the had. But for me, I've had a hard time. I've been a hard time really, really saying that's it. I want to be long. And it's caused me to be less active. I've made less trades, and I have focused on, I actually have looked back. If I look back over the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of my trading, where I am making money are trades that are not really related to the SPY. It was Carvana. It was AI, right? It was AHI. It was OCEA. It was MGOL. It was like that patch of small caps. Sure, we had like the Tesla trade that one time. We had the CrowdStrike short, but CrowdStrike was more of a play based on Palo Alto, not the SPY, right? So it's like I haven't really been doing well if I've been trying to say, okay, well, I think the SPY is going to go down, so let me go ahead and let me short these stocks because I think the SPY is going down. Those trades for me over the last couple of weeks have not worked. I've either gotten one take profit and then stop out, or just a full stop out altogether. So I've been doing much better in I call them like vacuum trades, because it's like, regardless of what the market's doing, this stock is going to do what it's doing, right? Whether it's a news catalyst that the stock has, or if it's like a small cap that really doesn't care what's happening in the overall market. Those stocks are where I have done better over the last couple of weeks. And while I am uncomfortable trying to go long, even though that's the direction the markets have been going, I'm trying to look to other places where I feel more comfortable getting in. And I think that's why I've been able to have success in those type of trades rather than, if you go back a couple months ago when, when I'm right with the flow of the market, it seems like every day I'm just hitting a large cap that's correlated to the market using relative strength and relative weakness. But over the last couple of weeks, I have had success in places outside of that. My losing trades have been when I'm trying to fight against when the market keeps going higher. So I'm conscious of that, and I'm trying not to. That's why, like today, after the Datadog trade, I'm like, I'm not going to try to short anything else. Okay, I'm wrong. It's still not ready to give me that action, so I'm not just going to keep pressing on it. It's like you have to be able to say, like, market's not doing what you thought. Go find something else instead of just lose money just to be stubborn. So, great question, though. Thank you. Anybody? Yep, go ahead, man.
With your volatility in the market recently, some banking, some payment processing stocks have really struggled, like SoFi, like Square, and some like PayPal have seemed stronger. Is there something you can see that makes the difference there, or is it just watching how they are trending?
So the question is that with all the volatility we've had lately, there's been some payment processing and some banking financial stocks that have some that have struggled lately, like a SoFi or a Square or Block, and others that have seemed stronger, like a PayPal. And if there's anything that I see there, kind of, why that may be. And I haven't really been focusing too much on those names. I haven't looked at Block lately. I haven't really looked at PayPal. I haven't really. I did look at SoFi, but what I would say is, SoFi had been very, very, very strong over, a series of a couple of weeks when you had the announcement when they had the debt ceiling deal, where they were going to finally restart student loan payments. And that is great news for SoFi. SoFi really got hurt when during COVID, they suspended student loan payments. 10 to 15% of SoFi's business is student loan refinancing. Not only do they generate revenue from that, but they get new customers by that. Someone comes to SoFi, they refinance their student loan, and now that captures the customer on their platform, and they can, push other services that they offer onto them. So not having that for a couple of years really hurt SoFi. So that's why once that was finally announced that, hey, we have a debt ceiling deal, and it involved that, and that was part of it, was starting back up student loan payments, which I believe payments are going to have to start being made in September, if I'm not mistaken. I believe August is the last month of the moratorium. Don't quote me on that, but I believe September student loan payments have to start up again. And that took SoFi from $5.25 all the way to $10. Now the stock's at $8 or $8.35. So I would still say that SoFi still has had one hell of an impressive run. I own SoFi in the long-term portfolio, still from prices higher than where we are now, and I still just plan on holding on to it. But I just look at this as a little bit of a profit-taking, pullback on what was 100% move in a matter of 3 weeks. So the stock made a very big move, and now you got to pull back in a little bit of a reset. And then the other names, with Block and PayPal, I don't really know sometimes why, because they used to trade a lot more heavily correlated. And I think that, in July, this whole the Fed Now payment system that's starting up in July, I think that has to do. I think that is made, and you also have had, Bitcoin has had a nice rally, so crypto has kind of bounced back. So I think a positive of crypto recovering, but then the uncertainty of this Fed Now and what is that going to do to a payment processor like PayPal, you have this like push pull going on within the payment processing sector, and I think that's why you've had some of this. I think that's why you've had some of this like back and forth, like weird action in some of these stocks where like one of them's green, one of them's red, and then vice versa the other day. And I think that's maybe why, is that uncertainty. But great question. Guys, I'm curious just to see now our viewers here that are with us on the live stream. I'm curious to see how many people that we have that are wondering if the Fed now goes public. I'm not sure what you mean by wondering if the Fed now goes public. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I'm wondering how many people that are on the live stream right now that are not members of the TTG fam. I see we have a lot of members. I see all you guys' usernames. If you guys are not members of the TTG fam, just do me a favor, type the letters TTG inside chat right now, just so I can see who we have here that is not a member. Yeah, guys, don't be shy. Go ahead and type the letters TTG for those of you that are not members of the community. Was your camera working? No. That's fine. No big deal.
That's why I walked past you. So yeah, I can't do anything.
Oh. Yeah, guys, go ahead. Type the letters TTG if you guys are not members. I'm not a member, just drunk a little. TK, nice. We got Kevin, Tony, Leto. Cool, guys. Aza. Ryan. Very cool, guys. Yes, go ahead. Type the letters TTG. I just want to see who we have on here that's not a member so I know who we're talking to. Go ahead, type letters TTG, folks. Again, if you guys are not members of the community. There's Empty Buckets. Back as usual. There he is. Empty Buckets, one of these days. You, East Coast Canuck, one of these days. I feel like members of True Training, you all know who you are because you're on the live streams every day, right? You guys all know, everyone knows Empty Buckets, right? Everybody knows East Coast Canuck. Everybody knows Dave Norby.
Yep.
Eric, Johnny. All right, cool. Non-members, stay put. Those of you that are non-members. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I don't even know what that means. Brad, what's up? Darpin, Bebby. Excellent. So those of you that are typing TGD or maybe some of our viewers that are on the YouTube channel, do you guys have any questions for me that you want me to hit on? If you guys have questions for me, just go ahead, sound off, type them in chat. Don't be shy. Just type your questions in chat. Like I said, we're just doing a nice little Q&A session here today. You guys can go ahead and type your questions. I'll answer maybe a couple of more before we break off. And we are still rocking and rolling with day one of our second Miami meetup. So go ahead, guys. Don't be shy. Type your questions right in chat. Justin says, Powell made some comments today about capital requirements for the largest banks. How does this affect them in the short term? And should we be looking to short these banks? So, Justin, great question. So you actually saw bank stocks were actually very weak today. And a lot of it has to do with what you just said. Okay. So capital requirements for banks, the higher the capital requirement is, less money they can lend out onto the street. Therefore, the less interest they can collect. Therefore, the less money that they can make. So if a bank, just for easy math, right? If a bank has $1,000, right? Everyone deposits their money, bank has $1,000. Now, normally, let's say if there's a capital requirement of, I don't know, make it 16%, okay? Well, then they're going to have to keep $160 in cash at all times. They can lend out the remaining balance and collect interest on it. If you raise that capital requirement, then now instead of 16%, they have to keep 22%, which means now less money they're able to lend out, less interest they can charge, less money that they can make. So increase. That's why you saw this move to the downside on JP Morgan today. That's why I saw the move to the downside. You see like Goldman Sachs moving lower, Morgan Stanley moving lower, Bank of America moving lower. I mean, Bank of America down 2%, Wells Fargo down 1.2%, JP Morgan down almost 2%, right? Goldman Sachs down 1.5%. Right. So that's why I think you saw that weakness today in those stocks. And, do I think that they are shorts? I don't like JP Morgan for the short. JP Morgan is best in breed and they have been the strongest. You do have a major resistance level on JP Morgan in the mid 140s, like 144. And if you see on my charts, I'll just draw it across for you guys. You can see this resistance level right here up in the 144s. So that's a big level of resistance. But then at the same time, man, you have a lot of support down here in the mid to low 130s, right? You see all of this structure down here in the mid to low 130s. You've also got the 50 and 100-day moving average that sits here. So, I mean, I'm not crazy about a downward move here on banks or JP Morgan specifically, because I just feel like you have a lot of support down here. And then you have a 200-day moving average that's catching up. That 200-day lines up with that level around 132. So, I mean, you've got some nice support down there. I wouldn't want to be short into the 50 and 100-day moving average like you see right here on JP Morgan. That's me. Now, same thing kind of goes here for Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is coming up to a nice level of support as well. So let's draw a line across support level there on Goldman Sachs. You can see pretty clearly that you have a very big level here on Goldman Sachs. After 4 straight consecutive down days, I don't think I want to try to short through this level. If you want to short, I would try to wait for a bounce off that level so that you can try to maybe get yourself into shorts up here with a stop loss at the 50-day, and then see if you then move back down towards that level, take profits off at that 3, this is like 317, 318. And then if the level breaks, then you can see downside to maybe 313 and kind of fill the gap from March. And that's going to be a 313. That's a 313 number. So I think that your idea to short these banks, although a good idea, I feel like a big piece of this move has already happened. And just be careful chasing that move after such a big move to the downside already, because that's how you chase the trade down. You get short, it bounces, you get stopped out, and then a couple days later, it rolls over again. And you're like, I was right, but I still lost money. That's because you're chasing the move to the downside. Try to be patient with it. You're at some pretty significant support levels. You probably get maybe a day or maybe 2 bounces. If you want to take the short at that point, I think you'll put yourself in a better position. Mike, end of Q2 is next week. Are we usually strong the last week of the quarter? I actually don't know. That's a good question. I'm not the type of trader that looks at, okay, well, for the last 20 years, the last week of Q2 has been a green week 64% of the time. Therefore, I think it's going to be a green week now. I don't consider that type of data in my trade analysis, so I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. Not to poo-poo it, but it's just not what I use in my analysis. Not to say there's not other traders out there that don't and could. It's just not something that so I'm not even sure what we do, I'm not even sure what the last week of Q2 is like, to be completely honest with you. Mike, thoughts on AMD? Wait, that's you, isn't that Eric? Isn't that you? I thought that was Eric. So thoughts on AMD. Let me hit on AMD real quick. So AMD filled the gap. Target reached. So if you guys have been on the live streams for the last couple of days, we've been talking about AMD with a target down here of 110, 111, and that target was reached today, 109.85. Right, 109.85. 109.85. So target reached. This is a support level now. At this point, I would just try to maybe wait for bounces back up towards 116. 116 is a big enough level. We can try the short back up at 116, but I don't know if we're just going to keep cutting through and go straight down to your next level, which your next level is going to be around 105.5. All right, so I would say at this point, maybe you get a little bit of a bounce off of this level, especially if the markets do recover now after holding that level from today. If the markets do push higher, then I wouldn't want to still be short AMD. You probably get a little bit of bounce. You're probably going to get a little bit of bounce off that level. Third Eye Brand says, yesterday live stream, spot on analysis on AMD. Yeah, AMD was a good one. AMD was a good one. A lot of members were able to make money on that as well, so that makes me feel good. Ooh, what are your thoughts on Boeing? Good one. Okay, so Boeing has been getting pummeled because their supplier, SPR, where they get a lot of their parts from for their airplanes, their workers are on strike. So their workers going on strike means delayed parts for Boeing aircraft. Delayed parts for Boeing aircraft means delayed plane shipments, which is not a good thing for Boeing. And that's why that stock's been getting hit. But I think obviously, a lot of times when you have strikes and stuff like that, it's newsworthy until it's not, right? It's newsworthy until the strike ends. And what I would tell you is once you get down into, if Boeing gets down into the high to mid 190s, I think that's enough of a support level that I would expect to bounce from there. I think that, once this gets resolved and, if this takes a day, a week, a month, once it gets resolved, you're going to see a nice snapback in the price of Boeing. What do you think that MicroStrategy might do? It's been on a run for the last few days. I think MicroStrategy is going to do whatever the hell Bitcoin does. I mean, this stock has almost become a Bitcoin ETF because of how much Bitcoin they actually hold. You can only see your hands.
I know. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, why?
You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay.
See what I have to deal with? You want to turn my mic off before you tell me this?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're going to be right back here. We're going to turn the mic off for a second.
You're doing great.
All right, guys, we're back. we're back. Okay. So we're back. All right. So, I mean, you want me to just.
Was there a lot of new people?
There's a decent amount of new people, yeah. Guys, so this person that you guys can't see because he's behind the.
I'm good. I'm tired.
He's further back in the background is my business partner and co-founder of TTG, Adam.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have that, that's fine. Because if you don't have that, doesn't have a laptop.
Then let that be the reason, not the other thing.
The laptop.
Right. Just
Yeah.
say
Okay.
it's
So
the
you
laptop.
didn't get it.
Put the mic on.
The mic is on. Everyone can hear me right now.
Everyone can hear you.
Everyone can hear me right now. Yes.
Okay.
So we don't. That's fine.
All right.
That's totally fine. We don't have. That's fine. Okay. So here's the deal. For those of you that care.
Why do you have a virtual background on?
I mean, I don't know. It was just
Turn
on.
it off. You look like a schmuck.
I don't know how to. I don't even know how to turn it off.
Okay, seriously, you're at an in-person
So how do I?
meetup.
But
You
no
want
one's even
people to
behind
see
me.
that there are people, not just
No one's behind
It sounds
me.
like your
Hold
mom's
on.
calling shit out.
There we
to
go.
you
All right,
on
now
a
come say hi.
FaceTime.
Now come say hi.
Hey guys,
There he is.
turn your camera around. There's not a lot of people now because everyone
Hey
kind of
guys.
took off early, but we really are doing an in-person meetup. He's not just in his basement.
Oh man, what a day, guys! What a day! All right, so So anyway, here's the deal. Here's what Adam had just told me, and he didn't know how to say it because he told people that we were going to have laptops, but we don't.
It's actually not it, but just roll with it.
Okay,
Just
that's
roll
fine.
with it.
That's what you want to do. Then that's what we're going to do. So we were supposed to have laptops and told someone specifically that we were going to have laptops, but now that we don't have laptops. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Like I said, we were, I wanted to keep this live stream nice, short, and sweet here today. We do the Q&A session. But what we're going to do here now is we're going to wrap things up, and then we're going to, get back to, talking with and, going through some one-on-one stuff and some conversations with all of our members that are here with us for the in-person meetup. But for everyone that's on here that said that you're not a member of TTG, we were we're supposed to get another batch of laptops in for the day, which Adam was unable to accomplish. So what we're going to be, what is that? I don't even know what that percent is. What is that? 63. Okay. So what we're going to be doing here, guys, is since we do not have the laptops to offer anybody here this evening, for those of you that are not members that are on the live stream, if you guys are interested, I can tell you how you can join the community before it is that we break here today, and then get your butts on over in chat tomorrow where we finish off the final trading day of the week. All right. So you guys can go to TTG.
You know what that is? That's for smiting you for not paying. Just go ahead.
I'm not sure what that sound is, guys. Oh no, because you might get
I was going to do it on your charts. I haven't told you.
Oh.
I was just sitting here.
All right, so
wanted
then-
to watch you do this stream.
I don't know, just all right, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. So people that are not members, if you guys do want to join the TTG fam, you can go to ttgoffer.com. I'm sure after this live stream, you definitely want to join the family. ttgoffer.com. Use the coupon code TTG121. We were going to have the $900 price point with the laptops, which we do not have the laptops anymore. So then it'll just be $800 without a laptop, and that's going to be.
Sorry to bother you again, but I know this is bad timing. After we're done with the live, we'll leave it open for a bit. Then the annual membership and the trial has to come down for the balance of the night.
So once the live stream's done,
We'll leave it on for a little bit after that, but it's got to come down because we're revamping.
we're changing it, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys can go to ttgoffer.com, use the code TTG121. 63% discount, drops the price down to just $800, but that's no laptop. $800 for the entire year. That includes all of our courses and all of our tools. Okay. There's no upsell for courses. All the courses are included. Joe, if you want to maybe post up the link in chat so people that are not members can see the list of courses that they're going to have access to. It's a simplified and expanded upon version of the 3-month training that I went through and worked at the fund. There's beginner courses, advanced courses, options, swing trading, trader psychology, crypto futures, you name it. You've got it. It's all included. There's no VIP courses that cost another $1,000 after you guys join. You have Benzinga Pro's real-time news feed, congressional trades, insider trades by management, Quote Media's full book level 2, Trading Views premium charting software, the Trade Ideas scanner, a simulator from ETNA lets you trade stocks, options, crypto, and futures with fake money. Our own scanner that lets you create custom scans. You've got dark pool data, unusual options activity, options flow, short data, a trading journal that tracks your trades, social sentiment scanners, analyst ratings, watch lists every day that the mods publish, tell you which stocks we're focused on with entries and exits so you know where to focus your attention before the day begins. All of that is included for just the $800 here, but you've got to go to ttgoffer.com now and use the coupon code TTG121. Click apply code, then the price will drop down to the $800. We're only going to leave this open for a short while after this live stream. We are making big changes to our membership, so we will be taking down the membership option shortly after this live stream. So if you're watching this 3 or 4 hours after it's already aired, then most likely you're not going to be able to purchase the annual membership. If you go to ttgoffer.com and the coupon code doesn't work and there's no option for you guys to purchase the membership, then we've already taken the stuff down because we'll be doing that later this evening. So you can go now to ttgoffer.com and grab the $800 price point while we still have it using coupon code TTG121. Now, if you used to be a member, a trial, or you are currently a trial, you have to send us a text message because your email has to be whitelisted since you've already had an account with us. So you got to text us at 786-505-4049. Again, that's 786-505-4049. 4049. Phone number's right down there at the bottom of your screen. Okay. Anyone that joins here this evening for the $800, you will also get yourself a double your money back guarantee. This is how it works. We put our money where our mouth is. I stand behind the platform that we've created, and I believe in its ability to help you reach your goals. If you join, you pay $800. If you go through the courses, pass the quizzes, and attend one study group, and cannot make $800 back at least one time during your membership, we'll give you back double. We'll give you back $1,600. We can do that because you only had to give a refund to 2.49% of our members. We're 5-star rated on Trustpilot with over 2,200 reviews. And 78% of our members have either renewed their annual membership or have gone on to become lifetime members. If our refund rate was 20%, we wouldn't be able to offer you double your money back. We would simply go out of business. So go to ttgoffer.com, use the coupon code TTG121, click apply code. Price drops all the way down to $800. Grab it now. You've only got probably a couple hours before we turn it down, before we take it down. I'm not sure exactly what time, but if you go to the site and it works, great. Enter the code. You have to manually enter the code. Then click apply code, price drops, sign up, and you guys are good to go. Who?
Vimla.
Vimla. Welcome. Welcome to the TTG fam. Everybody welcome Vimla. I don't know if we're pronouncing that correctly. I hope we are. If not, I apologize. But welcome to the TTG fam. Everybody welcome Vimla. Welcome to the fam. If you guys have any questions also at all, if you're having a hard time signing up, do not hesitate to text that number as well, 786-505-4049. Any questions you guys have, we'll be happy to answer those questions, but I would hurry up and go grab it now. All right. Now, before we do break, we do want to go over trade of the day today, which was a short on Roku. And to help me go through this is going to be one of our TTG mods, Jessica Woodard. What's up, Jess? Here, let's just.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi.
All right. See, this works. Jess, talk us through this Roku trade. Why was it on your watch list? And then walk me through entries, exits. And this is about a 3-to-1 on final take.
Yep.
About a 3-to-1 on final take, which is honestly impressive. 3-to-1 on a short on a day when the markets just kind of churn themselves to the upside. So really nice job identifying the relative weakness on this name and sticking with it through some midday bounce and having some conviction on that one. So talk us through kind of the setup here with Roku.
Yeah, so this morning, every morning the moderators publish a watch list. And this morning I told members here in person live at the TTG meetup and in the chat room that my top short idea today was Roku. If you look on the daily chart, which Mike will do all the charting for me, I couldn't get my computer to function for this. So Roku broke the 68 support, which is also where your daily trend line is. It's that blue line on Mike's screen there. We broke below that pre-market, and I wanted to see a retest. We broke below that yesterday, and I wanted to see a retest of the previous day's close at 65. We didn't quite get up to 65 today, so I had to adjust my position size a little bit for this trade. But I did end up taking that trade today, and it was my good trade today. I had a red trade today, and I had a green trade today. I got in that trade at 9:35 this morning at 64.48, and my stop was above 65. It was in that 65 area. Now, the reason I wanted to bounce back into 65 is because the closer you get to your entry point, the bigger position size you can have because your stop would be closer to your entry. But I just had to adjust for that. Oh my gosh, I see everybody saying hi on the live stream. And then my first take profit on that trade was at 63.90 at the low a day. And then I took another piece of profit off in front of 63 support at 63.29. And that was my bulk take profit. And then I actually set a hard stop just above VWAP on my last piece. We were down walking around, talking with members and doing some small study group stuff with them. And while we were doing that, my stop triggered on the rest of that trade at 64.25 was my final take profit.
And there you have it, folks.
Yep.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Can't make this shit up. You got to welcome Huckleberry Pie.
Huckleberry Pie.
I swear to God, it's right here.
Welcome to the TTG family, Huckleberry Pie. Everybody welcome Huckleberry Pie. I'll tell you one thing right now. You're going to fit right in.
Best username.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to the TTG fam. Guys, like I said, go to TTG, Oh, there he is. There's Huckleberry. He goes, I think I just joined. They're not sure. Huckleberry goes, I think I just joined. Yes, you certainly did, Huckleberry. We've got you. Welcome to the family. Again, guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Send us a text, 786-505-4049. We'll answer any questions that you guys have. You have questions about me, about Jess, about the rest of our mods, our trades, our platform, our money back guarantee, whatever it is, you got questions for it, we'll answer them for you. You'll talk to a real person, not some random customer service. You'll be talking to a real person. Most likely.
No, it's going to be Luciano.
You're not going to talk to Adam. You're only going to talk to Luciano, who's a fantastic young man. You'll enjoy the conversation. All right, so send us a text message. Great job there on this trade here, Jess. Turned out to be a relatively choppy day in the market. Relatively choppy day in the markets.
Confirmation from Kevin Bernhard, who's our new junior salesperson, who says he swears on everything that his real name, first name Huckleberry, last name Pie, was the text message that I just got.
Okay. I want to see a driver's license.
I want to see valid proof.
I want to see a driver's license. But Huckleberry, welcome to the family. All right. So, guys, with that, we'll kind of wrap things up here. If you guys are not members, if you're not interested in a membership at all, you can sign off the stream. Make sure you subscribe and smash the like button. Turn on notifications before you go. For those of you that are interested in the platform, I'll run through it real quick. I'll show you guys the platform. You can see exactly what the tools and everything and the courses look like. Jess, thank you so much for helping me break down what was a solid trade. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So listen, for those of you that are interested, let me walk you through the platform. You guys can see what it looks like. Of course, you're going to get the chat room. The chat room is where the mods and I share our screen. We're live on the mic. We're calling out trades in real time. We are answering questions. We're with you from pre-market all the way through until the market closed. We're not gone after an hour and you guys are just left to fend for yourself. Okay, we're with you guys for the entire trading session. You can also use the mobile app. The mobile app, as long as you have a cell phone, you can't be in front of your computer, don't stress it. That mobile app will be able to let you guys see the screen share, listen to the audio commentary, get real-time push notifications when the mods enter and exit trades. So that way you can follow along with what we're doing, even if you're not in front of your computer. You get 2 study group sessions with our mods a year to speed up that learning curve. Benzinga Pro's real-time news feed. That news feed will cost you near $1,000 if you go to Benzinga directly. It's included when you join the platform for $800. We only have a couple hours before we take that page down. So I'd hurry up and go to ttgoffer.com and use the code TTG121. You also get congressional trading data, track trades by Congress. Insider trading, track trades by management. You get Trading Views premium charting software, the Trade Ideas scanner streams on our platform for you to use. A simulator from ETNA lets you guys use fake money with real-time data to trade stocks, options, crypto, and futures to, implement what it is that you're learning before you risk your hard-earned cash. A proprietary scanner that we have that lets you create custom scans, dark pool data, unusual options activity, and options flow, short data. Many of you may pay for these things already. It's very expensive if you do. It's all included when you join us for the 800 for the entire year. A trading journal to track your trades, a social sentiment scanner to tell you what stocks are talked about most on social media, analyst ratings, so you know how many analysts have a buy, sell, or hold on a particular name, the watch lists every day that the mods publish, what stocks we're focusing on, and just exactly how we plan on trading them. And then the courses, right? Simplified and expanded upon version of what I learned at the fund. Beginner courses, advanced courses, options, swing trading, trader psychology, crypto futures, you name it, we've got it. You get access to it. Also a video library with 600 hours of workshops and webinars that you can start attending live once you become a full-time member. Gang, I can't guarantee that you'll be successful just because you join TTG, but what I can guarantee is if you go through the courses, pass the quizzes, and attend one study group, and don't make $800 back at least one time during your membership, we'll give you back $1,600. That is what I can guarantee. Go to ttgoffer.com, manually type in the coupon code TTG121, click apply code, sign up, get your butts in chat. Have a great night, everybody. I'm going to head back on now down and hang out with some of the TTG fam here at the Miami meetup. Hope you enjoyed the live. Smash that like button, turn on your notifications, subscribe. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.